Brilliant. Yeah, so thanks again. We have Bella, aka Steak and Butter Gal, if you still go under that name, which clearly you do. It's on the screen, so that's brilliant. So that was actually going to be one of my questions, how you came up with that name. I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but maybe there's a bit of backstory to
Yes,
that.
there is. There is. So I just thought of my two favorite foods as a newbie carnivore 7 years ago, and what gave me the most happiness and joy, and it was steak and butter. And I just feel like steak and butter eaten together is just the most delicious combination. To this day, I love a good steak and a delicious butter. I personally love my butter room temp is the warmest I take it. But usually I'll do refrigerator or freezer, so frozen or chilled, and eaten with a delicious seared blue rare steak. Those two foods were the reason why I healed so fast as well. And coming from a vegan diet, I was vegan for 6 years. I had a lot of healing to do at the very start. And so, thanks to steak and butter, I get to live a healthy, optimal life. And 7 years later, I still very much lean on beef and butter, and I eat a very high fat carnivore diet. Yeah.
Excellent. Lovely rundown. Answered a few questions already, but so you was vegan before, and then do you say 7 years carnivore? And
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
Vegan for
And I was
6 years. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, I didn't give you much of an introduction because you're very well known in this sphere. But for people that might have lived under a rock for a little bit in the carnivore community, or people are new to this, how did you get so popular on the scene? Let's be honest, you've got quite a lot of followers, and a lot of people know who you are. So did did you make one video that just went viral, or was it just slow progression? What was your
Mm.
experience with that?
Yeah, so I think I started posting out of just wanting to journal my progress. And so I started posting on Instagram first, and then YouTube, I started about half a year later. And this is 7 years ago. Back then, the carnivore community did not have the hype and the trend and the popularity that it had today. It has today. Back then, it was a very fringe, small community. And it was a community of mostly women, actually. You would think that a carnivore diet, all meat diet, is like all macho bodybuilder men. It's actually mostly women to this day. And so I felt very connected with the women 7 years ago. They were very nice, welcoming, and supportive of what I wanted to heal. And because it was mostly women, I felt like all of my comment sections, I could just be friends with everyone. And I still feel that with a lot of my comments. Just people who are walking the same walk as me, talking the same talk, and understanding this lifestyle. And so, because the Instagram tribe was so beautiful and I loved them and they were so nice, they were my navigating source of like what I want to do next for all things posting content. They were my North Star. So my Instagram family started telling me, Bella, what you're doing with your recipes and what you post and what you eat is so great. Can you please start a YouTube channel and make YouTube videos? And so because of that, I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. I started a YouTube channel, did the same steak and butter gal, and I started posting long videos. And so these long videos were really, really helpful to a lot of the carnivore community who were just starting out. And by then, I was like a year and a half carnivore, right? That's a long time. Most people don't make it past 7 days. It's hard, or it can be hard. And so this is me, 1 year and a half. People were starting to see, like, oh, this girl is healing and she's feeling amazing. And this is how she eats. This helps me start a carnivore diet. And 7 years later, to this day, I make videos thinking about how can I help? How can I help the new carnivore? How can I help the person who's curious about a carnivore diet? How do I help them? And so I think that's truly the reason why Steak and Butter Gal on all platforms has now total almost 2 million, right? So it's a lot of following. It's a huge community now, but it's not all because of my content. It's because there are so many voices that are carnivore, that are OGs, that know what they're talking about, that is like accumulating so many people to follow us. And I'll say, like, today a carnivore diet is more and more mainstream. It is almost treated as a fad because it's so popular. So people are like, oh my God, this is such a crazy diet. But little does the world know that because people are like gawking at us, thinking we're crazy and out of our minds, it's sending the carnivore diet to be even more mainstream. And so I think it's all a really good thing. I think we need I think we need more people talking about a carnivore diet as well. More YouTubers, content creators like yourself.
Brilliant. Yeah. So straight away, it just seems like a very authentic, organic process, like you just basically showing what you were doing, and they're probably usually the best things because it's all transparency, and you're not trying to be a fraud, and you're not trying to. You actually walk the walk and live and breathe as a carnivore, and you can see it in you look a very young, healthy, vibrant woman. So I think that resonates with a lot of people. That did with myself, because I was thinking, how's she blown up? I need to try and get like that, but I think that's how it is. And then you also mentioned that it was a very close knit community. I was sort of around 2017, 18 when I started. I saw Sean Baker on Joe Rogan, which is most people's. So, and I agree. It was a bit more niche and less people in the community then, and then people. So I was going to ask you, do you think it's been? I suppose it's been put on the map more, but do you think it might have confused more people? Do you know, with all these different carnivores, and then people putting their 2 cents in and changing it, and then dairy and caffeine and going a little bit away from carnivore rather than its roots. Do you see that a little bit?
Yes, I do think it's getting a little bit overcomplicated now. To be honest, I'm seeing a lot of different approaches and just complicating what a carnivore diet is truly about. And so I try to be the reason why carnivore is so simple and idiot proof and easy. I try to focus on like the back to basics approach instead of complicating it with all of these different things and numbers and all of that. Um, I could go into detail, like for example, the macros, the tracking, the glucose, it's a lot and it can overwhelm a lot of people. And so really, in my opinion, the best way to start carnivore is truly just go back to basics, eat meat, listen to your body. And then after you're fat adapted and you are feeling good, you've got the routine down, then you can start playing with all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I think it loses the liberating feeling of carnivore and what it's actually supposed to be when it starts to get complicated. Like we're trying to, it's just going to cause more stress having a CGM on the back of your arm all the time and a macro app. And I understand there's certain situations and different personal situations that may need those things, but I think you're absolutely right with that. So with that being said, have you experimented yourself? Have you gone down the Paul Saladino route for a little bit or anything like that? And what's your experience with that?
Yeah, so I recently just got to meet Paul Saladino in person and see how he lives and eats in Costa Rica as well. So he had this animal-based gathering. It was very interesting to see that, he eats a lot of meat. He has the fruits, and his go-to fruit right now is apples. And he has a lot of raw honey. And I'm not interested in playing around with anything besides strict carnivore right now, only because my skin is the reason why I have to be strict. So I actually started carnivore to heal my cystic acne and my eczema. So anytime I have anything off plan, even like certain spices, I'll feel itchy skin. My skin will be extra red, inflamed, and angry. And sometimes I'll have full blown flare-ups. So because of that, I don't really experiment these days at all besides, yeah, let's have some new dairy foods. That's about it. Try some different renditions of recipes, but it's always been strict carnivore. And the biggest addition I will say is worth noting is I'm eating salt. So I started off no salt. A very, very, very clean, basic carnivore. No salt carnivore. Just relied on a lot of meat, cooked very blue rare, to get the electrolytes and minerals that I need. Now I'm 7 years in and I can actually tolerate more and more salt, high quality salt, not just any salt. I just am a very sensitive person. So salt, and here and there I'll have some spices, but even then I don't even love to have. but I'm definitely the least strict I've ever been as a carnivore.
Excellent. So yeah, Paul's has as he comes across online, he eats the way. Would you say he eats the way he promotes online? By the sounds of it.
Definitely. He's very much what he promotes, and he's
Yeah.
actually so passionate about living a healthy, non-toxic lifestyle. He will not go near any fluorescent artificial light. Like when it's sunset, red light only, he goes to bed 8 p.m.
I feel like a lot of things that, you know, like you won't have like an air freshener next to him in the taxi, or he'll use his sleeve to pick a receipt. I feel like the the stress of worrying about those things could be more detrimental than the thing itself. Do you know what I mean? But if he's happy with that, do you know, you've got to be. I'm admiral. If he does that, I admire that. Do you know, it's, do you know,
Exactly.
turning the EMF and the Wi-Fi and all this, and I'm like, oh my god. I don't think they're huge rocks in the jar personally, but
Yeah,
I'll never know. It's
absolutely.
his, and same with you, it's everyone's personal experience. You know, if you have some spices and you get an acne flare up, you, you can't have somebody say no. Just keep. It's worth it for the spices. Everything's personal to the person, and that's what I love about carnivore. You can, if you reset the carnivore with the lion diet, and then you can put things back in, and you soon know the culprit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, brilliant. And with, I was going to ask you about the salt. So I didn't know you'd reintroduced it. That was going to be one of my questions. I didn't think you was going to say yes, but you've already answered. So could you just tell us a little bit of your backstory with why you removed it, what pros and cons were, and what's happened when you've reintroduced it? If that's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I started off carnivore learning from the original carnivore tribe. They call themselves zeroing in on health. It's like they used to call it the zero carb diet, not the carnivore diet. It started becoming the carnivore diet when Sean Baker went on Joe Rogan and he called it a carnivore diet. So he really coined that label. But originally, decades ago, was called the zero carb diet. And so this original Facebook group of people, they were saying even salt is a processed food that we don't need. It is an, it's just unnecessary. And so I very much learned from them. And there were amazing voices who were living a long term no salt diet, no salt carnivore diet, like Amber. I can't remember her last name.
O'Hearn?
Amber O'Hearn. Yeah, yeah, Amber O'Hearn.
Charles
And she was
Charles Charles Washington. Was he one?
Charles
Yeah.
Washington, exactly. So you already know. And Dana Spencer. Okay, so these three were major voices talking about no salt. Not everybody in that group, though, was no salt. Like, for example, Kelly Hogan was in that group. She needed a lot of salt, right? But I started off no salt and I felt really good. So I continued my no salt, high fat carnivore diet for like 3 years. I healed pretty much everything I wanted to heal and more by the 3 year mark, like 2 to 3 year mark. I was just so happy. And honestly, like when you live your whole life, I know I'm young, I'm 29 right now, but when you live your whole life, the life that you know, sick, on meds, always struggling, not confident, skin a mess your whole life. It's very different when you get to experience what a healthy life feels like. And so I really like what Michaela Peterson said. She was on the same panel as me at Meatstock, and she said, um, how does she word it? There's no dessert that can ever taste as good as what healthy tastes like, what healthy feels. And I can relate. I truly can relate. So only, I would say, a year and a half, I started eating more and more salt. And I did a really gradual experimentation, weaning it up. This is how I like to do things now. I don't like to do night or day overnight. That was my probably one biggest mistake is I literally went from the vegan diet to the carnivore diet overnight. No transition. Not good. But ever since then, I do very isolated experiments, slowly weaning off, slowly adding in, etc., one thing at a time. And that has given me a lot of clarity being a carnivore. A lot of people use a carnivore diet as an elimination experiment. So I'm going to cut out the shrimp, then this fish, then the eggs, then the dairy, and just do beef only, see how great I feel, and then add it back in. So I like to do it that meticulously every time I introduce anything changes. So yeah, now I eat, to taste. I still don't eat a lot of salt, and most of my meals are still no salt because I just love the flavor of plain meat. But workout days, for example, you look like you work out a lot, right? And so I only recently worked out regularly because I now have the energy. So I'll do dumbbell workouts at home. I love it. I love breaking a sweat and feeling my heartbeat race. It just is very addicting, I will say. When I sweat, I eat more salt. So I kind of listen to my body. How about you? Do you eat a lot of salt?
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
So I actually started no salt because of you. So I saw one of your videos, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, that I was trying to. My sleep was a bit poor, but I've got a little 4-year-old girl that jumps into bed with us at night, so my sleep's really hard to track. You try to get your diet perfect. I go to bed this time, but 1 a.m, she comes into our room and wakes us up. So I thought, okay, I saw your video and it kind of made sense. I was like, right, okay, if I'm having more salt, I seem to get more thirsty, so I'm going to the bathroom. We just say toilet, you say bathroom, but yeah, in the middle of the night to pee. So I thought, oh, is that, or am I just going to the toilet because I've woke up? So I thought I played around with that, and I didn't really know much difference. But the one thing I did, so I did a month. So I'm similar to you. I thought I'm really going to a month no salt. I can't just do a few days. That's not going to. I can't. I need to give it a good test. I did a month, and I kind of started to forget to need to salt my food. So I thought, oh, maybe my taste buds are changing. And then I had some bacon, and it was horrible. It was too salty. So I was like, some things definitely changed, but not. It wasn't miraculous. Nothing really changed with my sleep or anything
Yeah.
else. It was more. I was just probably my taste buds. It's like I didn't need as much salt, so it was worth doing. And I think a month was a good amount of time for any sort of adjustment. And then from then, I've just sort of like yourself, just sort of salt to taste. And then sometimes I forget to salt. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge rock in the jar. Not for me personally. Some people, either way, some people love loads. I know other carnivores that don't have any, and they both give a good argument as well. So I think again, personal dependent. And I did a bit of research on it. It was saying that you can store salt in your skin, muscles, and there was something else. Could have been your fat tissue. There's something. So I thought, oh, that's a personal dependent thing. Like you said with Kelly Hogan, if she feels like she needs a lot. So I think your body's a bit smarter. It was saying how it could, if it detected low sodium in the bloodstream, it can get it from these stores. I thought, oh, well, that's funny. And then now and again, I don't know if you have days where you feel like I need some salt today. Do you feel like
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I listen to my body. Some days it needs it, other days it doesn't want it. So that's the beauty about this lifestyle is you can finally just listen to your body.
Yeah. So that's where I think, right, let's just go back to basics. Salt to taste. And then I'm
Yeah,
guessing we probably drank, maybe we drank blood or our kills were a bit fresher, so we had a bit of salt from that. Like now stuff's all dry aged and you don't know what's been
exactly.
taken out of the meat. And did we find rock salt and deposits, and did we have them? It's always going to be speculation, isn't it? And you've just got to sort of go work to your body. And
Right.
one of
Exactly.
I was going to ask you, yeah, when you was talking then, as soon as you said Michaela Peterson, that was in my head. You just reminded me of her. Like it was a great way of putting it.
Right?
That what
Yeah.
for a few seconds of mouth pleasure to have crippling joint pain or acne for it. That's a big deal, especially for a female. Do you know when you're supposed to be beautiful? I think men get away with it more with stuff like that, but not that they still want to look good. But that's your face. Everybody's looking at. Do you know that must have been life changing for you? Like, was it on your
It,
face, the acne?
it was on my face. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely life changing because it was on the face. You could it really hurt my self-esteem. So I would never make eye contact with anyone because I was so just embarrassed, and as a young woman, and even just as a teenager, when I was, I think, 14 is when the skin started getting really bad on the face. But ever since I was a child, it was skin problems on the body, as for as long as I can remember. But because it was on the face, I wouldn't make eye contact. I would be shy. I don't want to talk to anyone at all. And I would be putting on makeup because I studied piano. So I honestly thought I was going to just be a pianist, right? And so when you're on stage and you're performing all the time, you want to look presentable. You should, right? That's the whole artistry of it all in the field. And so I would put so much makeup just to cover the red pimples, and to not have to worry about that and be self-conscious about the skin is, you're right, very life-changing. Not just because it's on the face, even when it's on the body. When it heals and it's gone, that is truly something that I am not willing to let go of anymore. Yeah.
I love that. Well, you look great now. You look great. Um,
Yeah. Thanks.
it's a big deal, yeah. Do you could you have one food and it comes back? Like, can you just isolate what's caused it? Are you that sort of regimented and clean with your diet? You know what's caused it if you get a relapse
Yeah.
or however.
I am very, very acute and observant now. And I can usually pinpoint exactly what it was. I do have a really good, like, clear head. Another benefit of carnivore, So
Yeah.
anytime I get even just a notch lower than how great I feel usually, I can pinpoint exactly what it was. Oh, last night I went to that restaurant and I had that specific spice. It's got to be that. Or, oh, it was yesterday's lunch when we had to order takeout and I could taste the seed oils, right? Like, I am very, very sharp now. My taste buds are extremely sensitive. I can literally taste if there is an ingredient that is not supposed to be there that I don't want. And that's a magic power, to be honest. I'm very blessed to have that now.
Yeah, same. I'm exactly the same, and I always say it is that you've got rid of the noise. You literally can hear everything, and you're listening. Like your sense of smell is better, your eyesight, everything, and your body lets you
Yeah.
know. And do you react quite quickly? Do you know, would it be literally the day after or later on that day if you had something in the morning?
Takes usually, I notice 16 to 20 hours to show up on the skin. And when it shows up on the skin, it typically likes to show up in my T zone when it's on the face. So the T zone is literally like T, right?
Yep.
And the chest. So if I have like an eczema flare up or a breakout, it's like always on the chest. And if it's irritation, it's always on the face, T zone.
And have you looked into the sort of physiology behind that, or do you not sort of care, or do you understand? I'm a bit geeky. I like to think, I wonder what's going on there. Do you think that's an autoimmune component?
I think a part of it is the autoimmune because the psoriasis that I struggle with is an autoimmune condition. So I'm sure it is autoimmune reactions and flare up. But I would love to learn from you. So, what can you share about what you think it is? Yeah.
I've gone as deep as looking at like the sebaceous glands and the hair follicles and things like that. Do you know, like, and I just think, what am I doing? Why do I care? But I was looking at the physiology of like why acne comes, and it's like some sort of blockage with overproducing like the sebum, and
Yeah.
inside the sort of hair follicles, there can be damage in there, and the body responds by producing more of the sebum. This is my interpretation of it. I saw a really good animation about it, and then it shows you what goes on then, and you get like dead skin and bacteria come off, and then it shows the formation of a pimple. So I think it's this molecular mimicry thing going on. Whereas say you eat something with gluten in, it has the sort of same glycoprotein, almost like a barcode on it, as your hair follicles, in the, like the shaft of the hair around there. So it's going to attack the gluten. It starts an immune process, and then it attacks the hair follicle. Whereas someone else, it might attack the thyroid or the pancreas, or your scalp on your head. So it attacks it, causes it a little bit of damage, and then it responds with the overproduction of the sebaceous glands. That's my sort of take on it. But then it could also be like a hyperinsulinemia thing, with hormonal, because obviously people get acne around puberty. So maybe it's mimicking that where you have this unnatural insulin levels. It could be a combination of both, but at least you know what causes it and what gets rid of it and things like that. So
Yeah. No, for sure. That's really interesting. Yeah. I know. I love it. I love learning.
Yeah, me too. And I was thinking, oh, well, what causes that? And I couldn't really find anything. And yeah, I thought that was really interesting. But I do believe that I think if you have one autoimmune condition, usually somebody has another one, and I think the root cause is always the same thing. And I think a lot of it's probably like leaky gut stuff going on, and it's the body mistakenly attacking things, and this molecular mimicry. I find it quite fascinating. But so, do you get what is the? I guess I think I know your answer, but what was your biggest reason, like health wise, why you don't want to go off track? Is it the acne, or is there something worse that happens to you?
I truly think that my health conditions are a blessing now because I know exactly what can keep it in remission, and it keeps me clean. It keeps me from straying. And so it's definitely my skin. So my skin will tell me exactly how to eat now. And I just listen to my body. And so some people, they don't have much to heal and they're perfectly fine as is. And so therefore they never can seem to eat strict and clean or however, plan that they want because they can get away with it for now, right? Until problems arise down the line. So for me, I do feel very lucky that I had problems very early on and that I've seen the light and found the answers to how to keep it in remission. And for example, I can use my husband. Um, he is metabolically healthy. He has no actual illnesses or conditions that he struggles with. Good for him. I'm so happy for him. But because of that, he constantly struggles with eating clean because he works all the time. He likes convenience. He likes fast um, ability to just order and eat. And so if I'm not ready to cook him meals and he's out and about, he will eat takeout or he will eat his favorite pho or Thai, And so these are things with seed oils. And the interesting thing is, as he gets older with me, he's also 29, he will start complaining. I notice, oh, I have knee pain today, you know, I have joint pain.
It's so funny.
And right. And, joint pain is a good thing because it tells you. So he'll always do like mini carnivore resets, feel amazing, and then go about his life again. Yeah.
Yeah, you just describing my wife.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, yeah, and then she'll tell, and then they'll tell you something like, "Oh, I've got this like rash on my tongue, and it's up. Oh, I've got," and then I'm like, "Okay," and
Right.
she doesn't want to believe that it's something she's eating, but we see it through a
Yeah.
different lens,
Yeah.
and then yeah, or if she just wants to lose a few pounds before like a holiday. But it's funny how that's what I was going to say to you. I think it's almost like a blessing and a curse because they don't really care and they can be chilled. We want to be hyper
Yeah.
focused and things because I do online coaching and I'd say a majority 90+% of my clients just come to me because they want to look good in a bikini or a swim short. So if and very
Yeah.
rarely they come to me and say, I've got psoriasis, like, and can you get rid of it for me? Or I need to get rid of my type 2 diabetes. Health seems to be lower down on the list, which is fine. We've got vanity. But whereas yourself and like, especially like an extreme version like Michaela Peterson, it's like
Right.
you're kind of forced to search for these answers. And she took a long time. I've heard her story. So it's almost like, and then when we watch our partners or other people, it's like we're outside looking in, we can see, and it's almost a little bit cringy, and you kind of want to shout from the rooftops, but
Yeah.
it's what do you do? Like they've got to be ready for it and believe it, and I think they feel we're a bit of a quack sometimes. That they're like, no, it can't just be diet. Like, potatoes have given me knee pain. Like, okay, when you say it like
Yeah.
that, it sounds a bit, but how do you sort of navigate that? Do you get into almost sort of debates with people and you think, why am I bothering wasting my breath?
You know, that is such a good point and a great question. So I never take the seat of debating and imposing anymore because I used to be that vegan girl. I literally was so intense. I was like, I'm on the best vegan diet or best diet in the world, and you should be vegan. And this is why. And it's just like thinking back, I learned from that because look at me now. I'm eating the exact opposite. So no one really knows the truth. No one really actually knows the answer. And everyone is truly so different in this modern day and this modern world. Like It is very difficult now to just do a one size fits all, like, okay, carnivore diet is for every single person. It's actually not, because then we have to take into account lifestyle. What job are you doing? Are you a stressful mama, right? Are you a single dad? All of these things will affect what diet works for you. Um, but when I get people judging me for what I eat, and it happens all the time in real life, one of the biggest, like, craziest things is I went on this mini sibling vacation. We went to Montana together and we visited this little ranch. And it was a very nice ranch. They made carnivore meals for me. They were so great. But the friend that my sister invited, she's a doctor. Okay. And she sat at the table and watched me every day eating nothing but a ribeye with butter and chicken wings, eggs, no veg. And she literally said, "What's your
I know what you're
cholesterol?"
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
Right? Did you check your cholesterol? And I'm like, yeah, I actually did check my cholesterol and it's not even a problem. She's like, that's impossible. Right. And she was just telling me what I should do and believe and just totally judging and shaming me right at the dinner table. And I thought that was like the wildest experience because she's a doctor. So she probably was trained to believe what she believed. But I usually now take the seat of like, I'm not even gonna talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the similar experience, and it's that was with my friend's partner who was a doctor, and
Mm,
I used to put things on Facebook, and she used to comment saying wrong, like, and I was like, oh my god, you know, I think so. I was like, message me privately, like I'll happily have a quick chat, but it's really tough. Like you said, I think that if you taught the wrong thing and you just get really dogmatic about it, but like you said, I'm the same. Like we in 10 years' time, we might be on a vegan diet, like who knows, but we're trying to fine tune it and we're open to learn. I think that's why we experiment with these things. But I've been doing this for about 8 years now, and I've tried little
yeah.
experiments, and my body just tells me I'd like gravitate back to like fatty red meat like
Yeah.
every time. But yeah, it's really awkward those situations because I think 9 times out of 10 they don't even ask. They're not even asking the right question. How's your
Yeah.
cholesterol? Yeah, it's really high. It's great. It's not
Yeah.
damaged, but it's, you know. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, and not to be insulting, but I think a lot of the time they're not going to be. They don't even understand the terminology of my response. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you start saying like gluconeogenesis and glycation and things, and then they're just like over the head, and it's a tough one, and it's not their fault. There's a long, but I posted something the other week, and it was a doctor that was admitting that they got 30 minutes nutrition training in her whole career, and she honestly, and it was a really popular podcast. I can't remember what the guy's called though, but it had a lot of views, and the guy was like, that's shocking, and he said that explains a lot, and there you go. So yeah, you've got to, and I hate to say it, but most times somebody that has those conversations, mate, they're not in. I know it's not everything, but they're not in shape. You know, usually health.
Exactly.
I don't know any carnivores that have been doing it more than 5 years that are really really obese. It
Yeah. Exactly.
you know, they just look healthy. Look at everybody that's doing it a while, like Anthony Chaffee and Sean Baker and yourself, Michaela.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
human freaks, like the best way possible.
Thank you.
So, what time is it in your set? Have you eaten today? Is it like 11, 12 o'clock? You've eaten today?
Yeah. Currently it is 11:41 here in Las Vegas, so I'm in Pacific time. And how about you? What time is it?
It is 20 to 8 at night, PM, 7:41. So it's a bit of a
Oh wow.
difference.
Are
It was like
you in
8 hours.
UK?
UK, England, yes.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah.
it's amazing that we can have this chat,
I
and like
know.
you're in the past.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did eat today actually. So I had a breakfast and I've been obsessed with ground beef. I usually have phases of like I just eat the same thing and I just want the same thing for months. So I'm currently on a ground beef kick. I eat it every breakfast, side of scrambled eggs. And if I want extra flavor, I'll have like one or two of my favorite beef sausages. I get it at Costco. I'm guessing you guys don't have Costco in the UK.
I've heard. I think I don't know if they're like a big sort of we call them cash and carries. They're the big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buying,
Yeah.
you can
Americans
buy it bulk.
bulk, low price, very good, convenient everywhere in America. So yeah, I ate a breakfast and then I always have coffee after my breakfast. So I am a coffee lover. I do drink coffee
That's one of
and
my
it doesn't
questions.
affect me negatively. Yeah. So I have it black though. So this is an iced Americano and it's ice, one espresso diluted with my filtered water. And that's it. I just love the flavor of good black coffee. And usually I'll have my second meal. I do two med right now at around 4 to 6 p.m. It varies according to my schedule day to day. And after that, I go to bed and no more food until breakfast. Yeah.
Too
How about
mad.
you?
Yeah. I'm on the OMAD for a while at the minute, but we had
Love it.
my friend had stag do. I think you call them bachelor parties when you're getting married.
Yeah.
So I've just been away to Ibiza,
Oh,
island, party island. That was very eye opening. Like a lot of people taking drugs and crazy, and I was very boring apparently. Because I don't drink alcohol. But I love it. I made a video about it today, and I was basically saying I think they all have very low baseline dopamine. So I was trying to refer to that. Say like we're meant to be here, people that can drink like 20 pints of beer. I feel like they're every pint, and then they start being happy and talking. So I said I feel like I'm here, and I have a steak or I sit in the sun, and I'm here, I'm happy. Do you know? So people
yeah.
can't imagine that. And people literally, I met up with some friends, and they said I couldn't do what you do, and they've got cocaine around their nose and a beer in the hand. I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, this is if I thought this was difficult, they think I'm really dedicated. You're so strict. I don't know how you can do it. I'm not sat here craving alcohol or cocaine. But it's easy
Yeah.
for us to say. I thought it was so eye opening. But what I was getting at there, I switched to OMAD just to sort of tighten up a little bit for my holiday, pure vanity, and it works.
Love it.
But yeah, so your two meals with
Yes.
the butter.
Yes.
Do you believe it's sort of ancestrally consistent?
Okay, I understand that angle. Like our ancestors didn't have butter and packaged sticks of it ready to go. But our ancestors did thrive on eating the fat around the organs, right? They would do anything to up the fats naturally from their kill and whatever they were able to find. So yes, I understand butter is technically like a processed food, but that's why for anyone who wants to get the energy from a high fat carnivore diet, the first thing that I would recommend is beef fat, right? So suet, SUET, beef fat trimmings. I feel like that's the highest quality fat you could possibly eat. Maybe like lamb fat might actually beat beef fat a little bit better than beef fat, actually. But because I live a busy life, I don't have time to always go to the butcher to get fresh quality beef fat trimmings and eat it raw. Sometimes I just want a delicious stick of butter. And so that's kind of my reasoning. And I do also want to add that I don't think everybody needs to eat as high fat as I do, honestly. I am just somebody who thrives on a lot of fat. It's just my body and I listen to it. It could also be because I think I have some Mongolian in my blood. And so I think Mongolians back in the day, their diet was literally meat, blood, and raw dairy. I think that's what they were eating and thriving and being super strong with. So if it's true that, I in fact have Mongolian in my blood, and actually a lot of Chinese people with my last name are Mongolian. So it makes sense. Maybe I'm just somebody who thrives off of a lot of dairy and fat, butter. Yeah.
That's a great way of looking at it. That's awesome. Yeah, that shows that individualistic side as well from your heritage. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's great that you didn't just obviously you handle steak and butter, gal, and you still said you start people with tallow. You're not like married to it and dogmatic with it. I think that's amazing. that's great. So,
Yeah.
and I saw you. I wanted to ask you about caffeine, but you've already kind of answered it. But have you? Do you have a lot of it? Have you experimented with it? Any pros and cons? I'm guessing for it doesn't flare, it doesn't cause any autoimmune issues, and it must be worth having rather than the dessert is definitely not worth having.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So with coffee, I will say that I was very, very inspired by Dr. Chafee because Dr. Chafee is very strict and he loves advocating for a 100% pure carnivore diet. And so he would often talk about coffee as like a hindrance. And he would say, like, you don't even know how good you can feel until you even cut out the coffee. And he always paired it with saying, I never get sore. When I don't drink coffee or when I cut out coffee, people always tell me they never get sore. I was like, okay, that's attractive enough for me to try it. And I did. Like I cut out coffee completely for I think 3 months. I honestly didn't feel that magically amazing and better than what I already was feeling. As I think that at that point I was a 4-year carnivore. So ever since that experiment, I added it back in. I was happy again. Okay, and I've just been drinking it every day. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit more sensitive to it. It's more with my sleep. Like if I have
Yeah.
it too late, I'm wired. I think I'm just sensitive to it. So that's my individual side of it. But like my brother's just been on holiday with us, and he's been carnivore for a couple of months. Like I haven't never told him to. He just kind of slowly transitioned, which was good. But he still has black coffee, and so we went for.
Mm.
He had coffees on holiday. We were fasting. We did OMAD, so we'd wait till the end
Mm.
of the day and eat. But he had a couple of coffees and almost a bit of envy, like jealous, I think. So, oh, that's pretty cool how it doesn't seem to affect him. But yeah, for me, it's I get very addicted and I have to up the dose. So
Yeah.
I'm from my sort of personality. When I used to have caffeine, I think I've cut it out about 6-7 years ago now. But I used to have like pre-workout drinks, you know, the powders before the gym, and they were so
Yeah.
strong. And
Oh, wow.
I'd start with like one scoop, and then like a couple of weeks later, I wouldn't feel it anymore, and I'd need two. And then I remember I had three, and then I had a white Monster Energy instead of water to get, and it just made me feel a bit normal. It didn't even blow my head off, and I thought, oh my god, this isn't right for me. So, whereas I know people that have one cup of coffee in the morning, and for years, I'm like how? So yeah, I think I'm just sensitive to it, and I build a tolerance to it, and I'm a bit of an addictive person. Like, so I'm better with like zero, but I am jealous of
Yeah.
you, and I don't feel like I'm missing out in a way, but that's just my experience with caffeine. Yeah, and
Makes sense.
dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you? So that made me think about dairy. So I think I was always kind of okay with butter, but it was more my weird mind with the ancestral consistency thing. Should I be having this? That sort of makes me think I should try something if it makes sense. But
Yeah.
anything past that, do you know, like cheese and Greek yogurt, it constipates me and I overeat it. So
Yeah.
are you okay? Are you okay with other forms of dairy, or are you better with like butter and ghee or things like
So I'm best with fermented dairy. So if there's anything that I really focus on, it's anything that's fermented. So cheese, except obviously butter is an exception always for me because it's pure fat. But I'll focus on cheese. Kefir is my favorite. Cottage cheese, fermented as well. Even yogurt, Greek yogurt as well. And then like cream and milk is where I try to stay away from. Yeah.
why fermented? Is that to do with the lactose changes? Like
Yeah.
what?
So it's higher in the enzymes that help me digest it better. So I don't get bloat. I digest it really, really well. And I feel, and it's probably because there's minimal carbs in these foods that gives me the energy and the food and the nutrition that I need so that I don't keep losing weight. So I'm at a place where because I'm working out, I'm trying to maintain my weight and build muscle on top of it. I'm not trying to get thinner. So that's why I use these dairy foods to help me eat a lot of food. And so I don't lose weight.
That's great. 'Cause that similar goes to me, but dairy just doesn't agree with me, which is annoying because if it did, because I love it, but
Yeah.
I could literally get satiated off like 2 pounds of like ground beef, and then I'm fine. But if I know there's like a kilogram of like Greek yogurt bucket in the fridge, if I start that, I can eat the whole thing, and I gain weight. But then a couple of days later, I start to get constipated, and I feel like I get a little bit addicted to it, and it's really annoying because I'm the same. I don't want to put any body fat on, but I'm trying to gain muscle. So yeah, because I do natural bodybuilding competitions, so I've got like more. That's my sort of goals for that, but it's not. It goes totally against the grain of most people that I know that do it. They're just high carb, eating every 2 or 3 hours, bulk, and I've done that before. So I like staying lean, but I'm hoping it's a marathon, not a sprint. Muscle building is a slow process, so I'll try and be patient with it. And because in my head I think I'll just eat more, but it's really hard to eat more meat. It's too satiated.
Yeah.
But I'll try and listen to my body and think, well, I've ate about 300 grams of protein. Surely that's enough by now.
Exactly. No, I totally get the struggle, and the fact that you can't lean on dairy is tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I go a couple of days and I know there's none in the fridge, then I'm okay. But my wife has it and my children have it, and I'm fine now because it takes me a few days just to not crave it anymore, and then it's gone. So I'll literally make it in my kids' lunch boxes, and I don't want to eat it. So it's so strange. I think it'd come in handy if I could, but
That's so interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I won't keep you too much longer. I appreciate your time. But I just had a couple more questions, if that's okay.
Sure, of course.
Yes. So do you work with clients one-to-one? And if you do, I'm sure you have in the past or whether you do it on now, how do you approach when because you said before that not many people make it this many years, these OG carnivores, there's a big dropout rate. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's the wrong diet for them, or it's just the society we live in and we walk into a supermarket and there's 300 different flavors of bags of chips and ice cream and it's just and societal pressures that they're like, well, everyone's eating out, and they just get drawn back in like crabs pulling them back into the bucket. How do you sort of navigate that? Say someone's struggling the first few days and because I get people say, I don't want to look at mince and eggs anymore, ground beef and eggs anymore, and I'm like, okay, I say you need to reset your taste buds, and then if it's months down the line, you're not hungry. If the thought of that doesn't make you salivate, you're not hungry. Do you have any other input on that?
I think that it's so many different reasons. And again, it's not just black and white anymore. In this modern day and age, we have so many nuances when it comes to what works for us in our bodies and our lifestyles as well. But I do see a lot of people, they cannot deal with the social situations. That's like one of the biggest hurdles. They have a friends gathering, they fell off, and it's hard for them to get back in. They have their daughter's birthday, they had the cake, they feel like crap, and it's hard to get back on track. It's probably the most difficult to stay on track the first 30 days when there are temptations everywhere and you don't know what to do when you go to these social situations. So it takes a lot of education and getting on the right plan. I do think coaching is incredibly helpful for those who have this issue of staying on track. Now, I don't do one-on-ones, and I instead do group. So I have a community called the Steak and Butter Gang. And I think in the Steak and Butter Gang, because we have all different types of people across all walks of life, age, background, issues, even location on this globe, it's really fascinating to see how each person does with a carnivore diet. And I will say that probably the best candidate for a carnivore diet is one that is extremely inflamed, diabetic, has a lot of weight on their body. They need to drop weight in order to get healthy. Carnivore diet is going to do it for you, Also, fertility. Like I have so many couples now that come in, can't have a baby, can't get pregnant, high fat carnivore, they have a baby in their arms. It's incredible. And so I get to see all of these journeys, so many of them all at the same time. I'm not a coach, by the way. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I do have a beautiful team of experts and coaches who love helping these members. And I think another big problem is, I guess, the boredom, right? Like the meat fatigue and the pellet fatigue. And people like to call it meat aversion. I mean, if you build a meat aversion and you cannot stomach eating meat because you want to throw up or feel nausea, that's going to do it. That's going to cause you to not be able to be carnivore. And so, again, having a community, having lots of recipes, try my egg pudding, try the cheesecake, pancakes, buns, everything is possible to make carnivore at this point. So, yeah, just being ready with all of these typical things, having a plan, having a tribe, having a coach is a phenomenal idea.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, my wife went carnivore for 4 weeks and then fell pregnant with my son. We'd been trying for like over like a year. So
Congrats.
thank you. Yeah, it could have been a coincidence. That he's 7 now. So, but yeah, that's just remembered. Remember that was great. It's almost I see with these people that I feel like it'd be a blessing and a curse for them to have an autoimmune condition. Like you said, with these really inflamed people that need to, they've got a bigger why than just a person that's a little bit overweight and like almost like you could like my wife and your husband, not that they're overweight, that they don't have anything debilitating and they can go off plan and not see an acne flare up like yourself, or I might get knee pain if I have potatoes. Do you know? It's almost like they
Yeah.
need something like that because their why isn't high enough. It's like, oh, I can deal with this bit of belly fat if I can go drinking in the pub with my friends still. So it's a bit
Yeah.
of almost a double-edged sword with that. But no, that's great. And with the community, so I have my clients in a little WhatsApp group, and when anyone's ever struggling, I'll get their permission. Obviously, the person, if I'm speaking to one-to-one first, and then if that's okay, I'll send a voice note to the group and say, look, Mrs. Smith is struggling. Can you just, she's 3 days in, can you say your experience, how you got over that hurdle? And like you said, that community support is amazing because everyone's got their own little tips and tricks, like you said, with different recipes or any sort of like, or using salt more or using exercise as a distraction, and then they'll start sending pictures of food and I tried this. And I think it's so powerful how rather than me just saying this is what I do, because that's not as powerful as like even 20 other people saying their different experiences. So I think that's great that you've got a community going and you don't feel as isolated that you're a weirdo.
Yeah. Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
because it's crazy enough anyway. Like it's a crazy enough diet, even though if you look back ancestrally, if they looked at us now, they'd be like eating a bag of Doritos. We'd be like, who's that alien? Yeah, but we're so
Yeah,
disattached from our past. It's absolutely crazy.
it
So,
is. Yeah.
so yeah, I had a lot of stuff wrote down, and half of the stuff you answered before I even asked, so that we were on the same wavelength. That's brilliant.
Yay.
Absolutely fantastic. So, what's in the pipeline for you, Bella, and where can people find you?
Yeah. So, what's in the pipeline? I'm working on my first cookbook. So, that's super, super exciting. And just putting all of my passion and energy in that right now. And I will, of course, keep making videos as usual. It's my favorite thing. And I just want to help spread the word. If I can make a difference and reach more young women specifically, I feel like that's my purpose in life right now. And you can find me Steak and Butter Gal at all socials. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure. I've followed you for a while, and yeah, it's quite surreal. It's really nice. Thank you.
I'm honored.
Big
Thank
fan.
you for having me. Thank you
No
so much.
problem. Okay, take care.
Awesome.
Thank you.